welcome back to Football Weekly. This is episode 2 of our weekly series with your host, Matt.
And Riley. Alright, so this week we have lots of interesting news to cover, as well as some controversial news.
And sorry for the technical issues last week with the audio and the late upload. We have fixed them for this week and we will continue to make this show even better. We're going to start off with the Barclays Premier League matches throughout the week.
Swansea took on Manchester United in the first game of the EPL round at the Liberty Stadium. The game ended 2-1 to Swansea's favour for the second time this season. Sung Young Ki and Bafétimbi Gomis scoring the goals for Swansea, while Ander Herrera opened the scoring for the whole game for Manchester United.
Sunderland then took on West Brom at the Stadium Light. The game ended 0-0 in an uneventful encounter.
Hull City and QPR played at the KC Stadium. The final score was 2-1 to Hull in Hull's favour. Nikita Jelavic and Dame Nadoy scored for Hull. Charlie Austin, the only goal scorer for QPR, with one goal.
Aston Villa then took on Stoke City at Villa Park. Scott Sinclair opened the scoring for Aston Villa in the 20th minute before Mame Riem Doof scored in the 45th minute just before half-time. Then Victor Moses in the 90th minute converting a penalty to win the game for Stoke City 2-1.
Chelsea and Burnley played a 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge. Branislav Ivanovic scoring his second goal in the last week in the 14th minute before Ben Mee scoring in the 81st minute to win Burnley a point.
Crystal Palace then took on Arsenal at Selhurst Park. The game ended 2-1 to Arsenal. Glenn Murray scored in the 90th minute for Crystal Palace, while Santi Cazorla converted a penalty and Oliver Giroud scored for Arsenal.
Manchester City absolutely thrashed Newcastle at the Etihad Stadium 5-0. Sergio Aguero scoring a penalty very early on for Samir Nasri, Edin Dzeko both converted goals in the first half. David Silva converted 2 goals in the second half to seal the deal for Man City.
Tottenham then took on West Ham at White Hart Lane. Cheikhou Kouyaté opened the scoring for West Ham in the 22nd minute before Diafra Sakho scored in the 62nd to put West Ham up 2-0. Then Danny Rose scored in the 81st minute and then Harry Kane in the 90th to deny West Ham of 3 points.
Everton and Leicester were to follow that game at Goodison Park. Stephen Naismith and Matthew Upson's own goal for Everton, and Leicester's goals came from David Nugent and Esteban Cambiasso.
Southampton then took on Liverpool at the St Mary's Stadium. Liverpool won the game 2-0, with Felipe Coutinho scoring an absolute stunner in the 3rd minute, and then Raheem Sterling sealing the deal for Liverpool. Moving on to La Liga, Getafe took on Espanyol to open the round. The game ended 2-1 to Getafe, with Pablo Sarabia and Alvaro Vasquez scoring for Getafe, while Albiol scoring for Espanyol in the 89th minute, but it was not enough to get any points.
Barcelona were upset by Malaga at the Camp Nou. The goal came from Wanmi in the 7th minute for Malaga.
Cordoba then took on Valencia. The game ended 1-2 to Valencia, with Nabil Gilas converting a penalty in the 74th minute and for Cordoba. Andre Gomes and Pablo Piatti scoring for Valencia.
Atletico Madrid and Almeria play at the Estadio Vincent Calderon. The game ended 3-0 in Atletico's favour. Mario Mandzukic converting a penalty early in the first half before Griezmann's double before the 30th minute sealed the deal for Atletico.
Deportivo then took on Celta Vigo. The game ended 2-0 to Celta Vigo, with Charles and Joaquin Larivi scoring in the second half.
Real Sociedad and Sevilla played an exciting 7-goal game. Aguirre converted the first goal of the game in the 16th minute for Sociedad before Javier Prieto scoring 2 goals, including a penalty, and Alejandro Arribas' own goal in the 83rd minute, winning the game for Sociedad. Timothy Kolajak, Carlos Bacca, and a Kevin Gamiro penalty were not enough for Sevilla to take any points.
Atletico Bilbao then took on Rayo Vallecano at the San Mamés Barria. The game ended 1-0 to Atletico Bilbao, with Aritz Adjuri scoring in the 86th minute.
Villarreal and Eibar were to follow that game. Luciano Dario Vieto scored in the 72nd minute to win the game 1-0 for Villarreal.
Elche then took on Real Madrid at the Estadio Marites Valero. Karim Benzema and Cristiano Ronaldo scoring the goals for Real Madrid in the second half to get them 3 points.
The Bundesliga is next on the agenda. Stuttgart hosted Borussia Dortmund in the first game of the round at the Mercedes-Benz Arena. The game ended 2-3 in Dortmund's favour. That's 3 wins in a row for Dortmund. Florian Klein scored a 32nd minute penalty, and George Niedermayer in the 90th minute were Stuttgart's goal scorers. But Dortmund's goals came from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Ilkay Gundogan, and Marco Reus.
Paderborn then took on Bayern Munich. The game ended 6-0 to Bayern Munich in their second thrashing in the past 2 games. Robert Lewandowski and Arjen Robben scored 2 goals each, while Frank Ribery and Mitchell Weiser scoring a single goal each.
Freiburg and Hoffenheim played at the Mage Solar Stadium. The game ended 1-1. Emmanuel Hohen scored for Freiburg and Kevin Volland for Hoffenheim.
Augsburg then took on Bayern Leverkusen in a 2-2 draw. Josip Drmic opened the scoring for Bayern Leverkusen before Kadri scored for Augsburg. Stefan Reinites thought he sealed the deal in the 84th minute before Marwin Hitz, the goalkeeper, scored in the 90th minute to get Augsburg a crucial point in their push to Europa League.
Mainz and Eintracht Frankfurt played at the Kofeiss Arena. The game ended 3-1. Christian Clemens, Johannes Gies, and Yunus Mali scoring for Mainz, and Stefan Aigner, the only goal scorer for Frankfurt.
Schalke then took on Werder Bremen in the Veltins Arena. The game ended in a 1-1 draw, with Max Meyer scoring in the 62nd minute, and Sebastian Pordell scoring in the 90th minute.
FC Köln and Hanover played in the next game. In another 1-1 draw, Anthony Uja and Hoslu scored for their respective clubs.
And in another 1-1 draw, Hamburg took on Mönchengladbach in the Imtech Arena. Zoltan Seitbier scored in the 74th minute for Hamburg, while Branimir Bertigota scored in the 90th minute for Mönchengladbach.
Wolfsburg played Hertha Berlin at the Volkswagen Arena. The game ended 2-1 to the hosts. Bas Dost scoring another 2 goals to add to his tally, and Julian Schreiber scoring for Hertha. Next we have a combined Serie A and League One match report. We've combined them into one report because we've removed some of the games that do not have big clubs in them. The first game we've got is the Juventus-Atalanta game at Juventus Stadium. It was a 2-1 win for the hosts, with Fernando Llorente and Andre Pirlo scoring in the first half to cancel out Giulio Migliacchio's goal for Atalanta. Hellas Verona played Roma at the Stadio M.A. Bentegodi. It was a 1-1 draw. Bosco Jankovic and Francesco Totti scoring in the first half for their respective clubs. Lazio and Palermo played at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. It was a 2-1 win for Lazio. Stefano Muri and Antonio Candreva scored for Lazio. Palermo's goal came through Paulo Dybala in the first half. AC Milan and Cesena played at the San Siro. It was a solid 2-0 win for AC Milan. Giacomo Bonaventura and Gianpaolo Pizzini scored for AC Milan. Fiorentina and Torino are our last match for the Serie A at the Artemio Franchi in Firenze. It was a 1-1 draw. Mohamed Salah scoring the 85th minute, and Giuseppe Vives in the 88th, 2 late goals in that game.
Now onto the Liga. Nice took on Monaco at Allianz Riviera. The game ended 1-0 to Monaco, an important win for them, with Bernardo Silva scoring the 85th minute. Paris Saint-Germain then took on Toulouse at the Parc des Princes in a 3-1 victory to PSG. Adrien Rabiot scored 2 goals in the 27th and the 48th minute. Thiago Silva then scored in the 74th minute, while Ben Yedder scored for Toulouse in the 51st minute. Lyon then took on Nantes at the Stade Grelande. The game ended 1-0 to Lyon, with Nabil Fekir scoring in the 67th minute. Saint Etienne then took on Marseille at the Stade Geoffroy Guichard. The game ended 2-0, with Max-Alain Gradel converting a penalty in the 54th minute, before Melville Edonic scored in the 90th minute for Saint Etienne. Michy Batshuayi then scored 2 goals in 3 minutes in the second half for Marseille. Now we're going to talk about some of the league tables, and we're going to start off with the Barclays Premier League. And Riley, what do you think about Manchester United dropping down to 4th? Arsenal have got up to 3rd.
Well, I mean, Manchester United losing to Swansea for the second time this year should not really be happening. I'm pretty disappointed as a Man U supporter.
I mean, Swansea aren't that good of a team.
Man, you've got a pretty difficult month ahead. I was looking at it earlier, but I think that we can get some crucial points. We're going to need to if we want to push back up ahead of Arsenal and maybe even catch Man City, even though that's looking unlikely. The form they're in. Chelsea dropped 2 points in their draw with Burnley. Do you think Man City can catch them?
There's still plenty of games to be played this season, but I reckon Man City, in the form they've been, they can easily catch Chelsea right now, and they could win. So the Barclays Premier League race is still on, even though we thought Chelsea had sealed it
it's really tight. Arsenal in third, 1 point ahead of Man U, who are 1 point ahead of Southampton, who are 1 point ahead of Liverpool, who are 1 point ahead of Tottenham. I mean, that's down to 7th. All those teams could make the top 4.
And Liverpool are really getting into some form with another win to a top 7 club, one of the better clubs in the Premier League this season.
Yeah.
Southampton, they're catching up to them,
Crucial.
and they could still make Champions League next season.
Yeah, they could. Down the bottom of the ladder, Aston Villa's late loss to Stoke City pushed them down to 19th. Their new manager says that they can still, that relegation's not an option, that they can still push out of that relegation zone. But, I mean, Sunderland and Hull kind of, they just need 2 or 3 wins and they've put space between them and the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, QPR is really the only team that's, really close that Aston Villa could overtake. I mean, they're in horrible form, and, they have a pretty good team. Some good players.
Who wants to see Fabian Delph and Benteke playing championship footy?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like the Fulham of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully they can regain staying in the Premier League, but you don't know. And maybe it'll be the 3 teams that got promoted this year that are going to get.
That hasn't happened in a while. That'd be pretty surprising if 3 teams all came up, went back down again.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not that unlikely. I don't know. Because... And then there's also, Swansea, who are kind of catching up to West Ham, who had a thriller season. West Ham are really dropping form.
Yeah.
They were, top 4 for most of the start.
Everton, 12th.
Everton just gonna, not acceptable.
Roberto Martinez needs to do something about that, or he could face a sack.
I reckon he'll get sacked. Because Everton, they've got such a good team, they should not be 12.
Yeah, they shouldn't. Should we move on now?
Yep.
Alright, so La Liga's next. Real Madrid moving 4 points clear of Barcelona after Barca lost those 3 crucial points to Malaga. What are your thoughts?
I mean, Real Madrid, they've got a lot of transfer news, especially with Ronaldo, because apparently they're not very happy about all the controversy going around him and his future. But he's still continuing to shine for Real Madrid as normal, getting another goal for them this week.
Yeah.
They're doing really good, Real Madrid, and I would not be surprised seeing them take out La Liga this year.
Yeah, Atletico, Valencia and Sevilla are the other 3 clubs behind those 2 main teams in the La Liga. Do you reckon those 3 could catch Barca?
Sevilla is a few points behind Valencia, but they're a very good team, and they can catch Barca, but I don't think so. They could make Champions League still, though. That's not out of the question.
Yeah.
While Valencia, they've been in great form recently, and are just playing super well this year with Enzo Perez in great form. Their new signing.
Real Sociedad had another crucial win under David Moyes this week. They're in 10th now. Do you think that they're going to continue to rise up the table?
I reckon they're going to continue to rise, but I don't see them overtaking Villarreal or
I don't think
Sevilla. I think 7th or 8th is where they're going to end up this season.
Yep. At the bottom of the table, Cordoba still last. Levante and Granada have to play each other in the last game of the round. That's tomorrow or something. There's not really.
And that's a very crucial game, because if they are to draw that, then there's what is that? 5-point difference between them, the relegation zone, and Elche. So one of them needs to win, and that team will be in a much better position
to move out of the bottom 3.
Why did I say 5 points? It's 3 points.
Good math.
I thought.
Whatever. Yep. So not too much to talk about here.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to the next league, which is the
Bundesliga.
Bundesliga. Now, Riley, Dortmund are climbing the ladder at a ridiculous pace. Do you see them catching some of the teams like Bayer Leverkusen and FC Augsburg?
Let's see. They're in 12th. They were last, I think, 3 weeks ago. So they've clearly hit some form. Where Leverkusen, Augsburg, 5th and 6th. I think they're still too far away. But I do think, because there's not many games left, but I do think that they're definitely moving to the top half of the ladder.
And there's quite a few games left. Enough games to catch up. But they
But
need to be in
Leverkusen
great form.
and Augsburg will continue to win, so I think 7th and 8th will be probably a realistic goal for Dortmund this season, which is pretty disappointing because they should be doing so much better.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be a rebuilding phase this summer for them.
Yeah. Bayern Munich and Wolfsburg, still the top 2 teams.
And they're both in ridiculous form.
Yeah, they're both in really good form. Mönchengladbach not really going to catch them. So
Or Schalke.
Yeah, or Schalke. Do you reckon that out of the 3 teams in below Munich and Wolfsburg, which team will make Champions League qualification?
I honestly don't know. It's really close. But I do see Schalke or Mönchengladbach. I don't really see FC Augsburg. I mean, they're having a great season. They're on the same point as Schalke. But Schalke and Mönchengladbach, they have, like, really class teams, like, good players in them. And, you know, experience levels at the end of the season and can also come to play. And Schalke, I see making it, actually, because they have some more experienced players.
Yeah. So we're talking about Dortmund's current rise. I mean, if they drop form again, they could go straight back down to where they came from in just a matter of days. That's how tight the league is.
Yeah, they're like 3 points above 16.
Yeah, so they only win above the relegation zone.
Yeah, so, you know,
They got to keep this form.
they need to keep this form or they are going to get relegated. But, I mean, they've been in great form. I mean, not the toughest teams they've played, but still, winning games is such a crucial factor.
I kind of want them to see them get relegated just to see, you know, all their players will be available to transfer. Some of the, it'll be really interesting to see
It'll be really interesting
what
what happens to, like, Royce and Hummels. And, like, will they stay in the Bundesliga too, or will they leave? I mean,
I would leave if I was them.
if they will leave, then they're just showing to the other clubs that they're not loyal. They're just, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's
it's their
not really
own fault
being-
for going down if they do.
Not really, because they've been playing really good in the Champions League. It's just been in the Bundesliga that they've been playing bad.
Yeah.
And then down below in the relegation zone, it's really close as well. There are so many teams going all the way up, like the whole bottom half of the ladder are still in the relegation fight.
Yeah.
5 point
definitely.
difference between 9th and 16th.
That's,
So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yep, so Serie A and League One, are we doing now?
Yeah, we're going to do that now.
Alright, let's go. Alright, let's do the Serie A now. So at the top we've got Juventus still 9 points clear. I reckon they'll stay on top for the rest of the season. But then Roma in 2nd, Napoli 3rd, Lazio 4th, and Fiorentina 5th. Which team out of Napoli, Lazio, Fiorentina, and the three or four teams below them will make Champions League and Europa League, Matt?
I reckon Napoli is going to stay in that 3rd spot for Champions League. Fiorentina lost Cuadrado, so I have a feeling they're going to dip in form because he's such a great player, and you know that's a pretty big loss for them. Lazio, I don't know. They do have quite a few old experienced players that may shine at the end of the season, but I reckon Napoli will come home with Champions League, and Lazio and Fiorentina are gonna stay in Europa League. Although I wouldn't be surprised to see Girona, Milan, Sampdoria, Torino all catching up.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that Cuadrado gone means that Fiorentina might go down because their replacement, Mohamed Salah from Chelsea, who's on loan for the rest of the season, did score a crucial goal to get them that
I mean,
one.
he's in great form, but he's no Cuadrado. Cuadrado's such a
That's
big
very
player.
true. At the bottom of the table, Parma sitting there with 3 wins, 2 draws, and 18 losses on
10 points after 23 games. It's just unacceptable by any team.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a few matches to play this round, like Napoli, Girona, Sampdoria.
Parma have to play again, but
Yeah.
I mean, 10 points.
23
after,
matches, that's just horrific.
like negative 27 goal difference. That's pretty big.
Unacceptable by any team.
So they'll be going down.
They'll
to
definitely be
the
going down.
League B, League 2, Serie D.
Serie B. League
bad.
2 is fine.
Yeah, sorry.
And then to the fight against relegation, Atlanta, Chievo, and Verona, they're not in the relegation zone right now, but Calgary are sitting there on 20 points, and they're all within 5 points of them, so they could potentially be facing a drop. Do you think they'll be facing a drop?
Well, I think that Atalanta and Cagliari have much stronger squads than Empoli, Verona, and Chievo. So I think that they can push out of that relegation zone, and I reckon Chievo and Verona will probably go down.
I mean, like, at the end of the season, weird stuff can happen. Some teams, like, some of their players can get super tired and just not perform, while others with more experience can continue to play at their best. So, now we want to move into the Liga.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, now into the Liga. And Lyon are still on top, but PSG are catching up. Only 2 points behind them. Do you think Lyon can snatch the Liga title off PSG?
Well, I mean, you guys obviously can't see this, but Matt, as you can see here, Lyon have won 2 more games, which is crucial. And
they've also lost 2 more.
Yes, but PSG weren't helpful. I do think that PSG will come on top. They've got too many quality players for them to not perform well in this later half of the season. Marseille, I think, will hold on to third. I don't see Monaco or Saint Etienne getting up into Champions League.
Although PSG do have Champions League football, which could, tire out their players a bit, but
it's very true.
But Lyon have had some absolute standout performances this year, like Lacazette, Fekir, all these players just playing amazing for them.
Yeah.
I see Lyon causing an upset in the Ligue 1, which would be a surprise for PSG fans because they barely lost.
Yeah, that's quite true. At the bottom, there's Metz, Lens, and Evian, and then Toulouse, who've moved out of the relegation zone. I think they were in the relegation zone last week.
Oh, I know, but they're still in the fight against it, and so are Lorient. Stade Rennais have a pretty good gap between Evian.
Well, in my opinion, Metz and Lens have no way of escaping the drop. I see them as going down. But I think Evian could come out of that relegation zone if Toulouse or Lorient don't perform.
Yeah, but we'll have to wait and see with that one.
Yep.
Yeah, is that it for the leagues?
That's it for the leagues. Alright, Champions League was a big discussion focus around the world this week, Matt. PSG and Chelsea played out a 1-1 draw at the Parc des Princes. Edison Cavani scored and Branislav Ivanovic scoring, and he scored later in the Premier League. He's in really good form at the moment as a right back, scoring goals. That's incredible. And Shakhtar and Bayern had a 0-0 draw on the first day of Champions League knockout stage.
I don't know what to think about the Bayern and Shakhtar draw, because Bayern really should be winning that. But they do have another match at the Allianz Arena, so
especially in their form in the Bundesliga, they've had an 8-0 win and a 6-0 win. But they couldn't play like that when they were playing Champions League. I mean, what's going on there? That's ridiculous.
I mean, maybe they're just resting a bit because, they could probably, park the bus and, Neuer's such a great keeper. But I reckon they're going to come out flying at the Allianz Arena.
Yep.
And with PSG Chelsea, they'll be playing at Stamford Bridge, and that's going to be quite exciting match. Definitely going to watch that.
Yeah, I think Chelsea can get over the line there. Alright, so I think Chelsea and Bayern Munich will get through from those 2 games. Basel and Porto played out a 1-1 draw at St Jacob Park. Do you reckon that's a fair result?
I reckon that's a fair result with Derlis Gonzalez and Danilo scoring for the goals. And then Schalke took on Real Madrid. Real Madrid coming on top 2-0, of course, with
As
Ronaldo
expected,
and Marcelo scoring the goals.
So Real Madrid will probably
advance
there because they've got the home game still to go, but I think with Basel and Porto being the top 2 teams in their league, fair result. But I think with Porto being the away team, the home team, for the next game, I reckon they're going to get through. What's happening next week in terms of Champions
Man City
League?
taking on Barcelona. That's going to be a massive game. I have no idea who's going to come out on top. It's at the Etihad, I think.
Yep.
Yep. So
Man City are in pretty good form. They won 5-0.
Yeah.
Premier League. Do you reckon that could influence? And I mean, Barca lost, so
yeah.
Is that hinting that Man City will win this week and Barca will lose?
I mean, Champions League football is so different because the leagues, they play in a different form. Because as seen with Borussia Dortmund, they've been able to beat teams in Champions League, but not in the Bundesliga because and that's why it's kind of hard for people to transition to different leagues because they play different styles.
Yeah.
So that's why Champions League is so interesting, and I honestly have no clue who's going to win this one.
Yep.
And
Dortmund, Juventus. You just talked about how Dortmund can play well in the Champions League. Do you reckon they'll win this game away against Juventus?
I mean, they've been in great form in the Bundesliga, so hopefully they can continue that form in Champions League, because it's always good to see Dortmund advance, but I do like Juventus.
Yeah, I think I'm going for Juventus in this game because Dortmund don't deserve to get through after some of their performances lately in the Bundesliga, and Juventus have not had a shot in the final in a while, so they knock out last year's runners-up. They'll be on their way to victory.
And then Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid. That's going to be a very interesting game as well.
Yeah, two low-class teams compared to those big,
better than
really
than average teams.
Yeah.
In their respective leagues.
I think Atletico. Though actually, I think there might be a draw in this first leg, but I think Atletico will get it in the second leg definitely. Your thoughts?
Atletico probably. They're just such a class team, and making the final last year, they really showed us that they're a team to be reckoned with.
Yep, and then lastly for the first legs of the round of 16, Arsenal are hosting Monaco.
I see Arsenal easy. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Arsenal, but I do see them beating Monaco because Monaco aren't really the team that they were that qualified them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've lost a lot of their star players, so I think Arsenal will be a fair bet in this game as well. Is that it for discussion?
That's it for the Champions League.
Alright. During the Champions League, we had massive discussion points. It was absolutely shocking how racist the Chelsea fans were on the train to that poor PSG supporter, or was he just a man who lives in Paris? But that was just appalling.
Yeah, I'm discussing display by the Chelsea fans. They firstly just denied this passenger for getting on the train, and then they started chanting, "We are racist, and that's the way we like it."
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason for it at all. He hadn't done anything wrong. He just tried to get on the train. And those guys have been banned for life from Stamford Bridge.
Oh, they haven't been banned for life yet.
Oh, haven't they?
They got banned this week, and if they are found guilty, like those actual people, then they will be banned for life. And Jose Mourinho has come out and say it is appalling behaviour.
Yeah, it's an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hate to see that these days.
This man has been granted access to Stamford Bridge, special access, because that's how bad Chelsea feel as a club. I mean, they don't have anything to do with their members in a way, like they can't control their members' actions, but you really don't want that.
Yeah. And wait, so did he get to Stamford Bridge? Cause I saw there was this campaign about bringing him to Stamford Bridge.
I'm not sure. I haven't looked at that. All I know is that
for the second leg of the Champions League.
Chelsea are going to get him there because they want to repay him for the way their fans treated him in Paris.
Yeah, it's just disgusting behaviour, and you hate to see that these days. It's something that we see as a thing of the past.
The only good thing that came out of it, well, I mean, it's not nothing to do with racism is good, but the other black people, you're not allowed to say that, on the train stood up for this man by getting off the train. I mean, if they didn't want him on, then they weren't going to go on either. So I mean, that was kind of the other.
And the reaction to it was just so big.
People,
like it's good to see that no one was supporting them. They were just being drunken idiots.
Yeah, hopefully it was that they were just drunk and
the one-off occasion.
Themselves. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for the discussion this week. Not much to talk about, but
some big topics.
Yeah, some big topics. We're gonna move on now. Now we're going to talk about some transfer news that has happened in the past week. And the first news is Paul Pogba is going to Chelsea. Blues reportedly to be leading the pack for the French wonder kid. The Premier League leaders have been told by Juventus to pay $74 million for the midfielder. Many other clubs such as Real Madrid and Manchester City are also interested.
The second bit of news we have is that it's about Santi Cazorla's move to Atletico Madrid, which we talked about last week. And it says that even though reports have suggested that Atletico Madrid could snatch up Arsenal's Santi Cazorla, Arsene Wenger insists that he will be staying at the club no matter what. He's performed well lately and his form has impressed Arsene.
Now we have Memphis Depay going to Tottenham. Spurs leading the race over Manchester United to sign the Dutch wonderkid. They are preparing to activate the winger's $21 million release clause in his PSV and Eindhoven contract.
Next, we have Arturo Vidal to Manchester United. It's said here that United are cleared to finally sign one of their long-term targets. The Chilean midfielder has struggled to hit to form this season for Juventus, meaning he could be available for as little as $23 million, as Louis van Gaal looks to add something new to his midfield.
Now, Jackson Martinez could be going to Arsenal, but Porto president strongly hints at an exit for the striker, saying if his value is met, he will go. The Gunners are believed to be leading Tottenham to signing the Colombian, who's valued at $29 million. And that's it for the transfer news for this week.
Okay, now we have the goals of the week in the Barclays Premier League. The fifth best goal was Samir Nasri against Newcastle. He touched it, a pass cut back in, the through ball came and he tapped it into the top corner past Tim Krul, I believe.
Yeah.
Nikola Jelavic versus QPR was the next best goal. The third best goal was Edin Dzeko, another Man City goal. Second, Coutinho's wonder strike from outside the box in the third minute against Sunderland. And the best goal, I know this is the Premier League goals of the week, but I mean he kind of is a Premier League player. Nani versus Gil Vicente in the Portuguese league. It was a stunning goal. They threw it in, he heads it down to himself, half volleys it into the top corner on the run from outside the box. It was absolutely amazing. Matt, we want to talk about the saves now?
Okay, so the saves of the week. We're going to start off with Courtois versus Burnley. And I believe from the corner, I'm pretty sure, Courtois stopped a pretty good shot. Actually, no, it was a free kick. I remember now. But it was a wonderful save. And then Radguzan versus Stoke, he had an amazing save as well. Close-up stop from a tight angle. And then Adrian versus Tottenham, a wonderful diving save from a long-distance shot. I mean, it's one of those saves which you just, like, it looks perfect. And then Begovic versus Aston Villa from the corner, another great save. And then Joe Hart getting save of the week against Newcastle. It was a great shot and some great reflexes. He was able to stop that goal.
So lastly, we are going to talk about our team of the week for this week. In goalkeeper, we have Marlon Hitz for Augsburg. The keeper scored a goal, which is an amazing effort for a goalkeeper in the 94th minute of that Bundesliga tie. The game did 2-2, but that goal is what got him in our team.
Yep, and now into the defence, we're playing a 3-5-2 formation. In 3 centre-backs is Marcelo. He had a great performance in the Champions League, scoring a goal, and in La Liga as well. Then we have Thiago Silva for his solid performance in Champions League and a great performance in the Liga, also scoring a goal. And then Ivanovic, who's just been in amazing form, scoring like goal after goal after goal, week after week after week. So he definitely deserves to be in the team of the week.
Yeah, alright. And then we've got our two central midfield, or central defensive midfield. We've got Adrian Rabiot from PSG for his 2 goals in PSG's 3-1 win in Ligue 1. And Jonjo Shelvey for his 2 assists in Swansea's amazing win over Manchester United. That second assist could have been his goal, but Bafétimbi Gomis did touch it through. We'll talk about the wingers.
Now we're going to talk about David Silva, left midfielder of Manchester City. He played a great game, scoring 2 goals, including one stunning goal. And yeah, just played a great game and a great win for Manchester City, and like another big win for them as they look to chase Chelsea. And we have Ian Robin, and then another big win for Bayern. He scored another 2 goals, and 2 assists.
Yep.
So yeah, he's definitely worthy of a team of the week place. Yeah.
And then our central attacking midfielder is striker Michy Batshuayi from Marseille for his 2 goals in their 2-1 win. In striker we have Romelu Lukaku from Everton for his Europa League performance, a hat-trick against BSC Young Boys. Great performance there. And lastly, Robert Lewandowski from Bayern Munich for his 2-goal and an assist in that Bayern Munich thrashing. That's it for the team of the week.
Yep. And that's also it for this episode of Football Weekly. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on the video about your thoughts, and share this with your mates. So yeah.
We hope you enjoyed. See you
See you
next
next
week.
week.